Hi, Guy. This is Manni Chopra here at the June Titans event with none other than David Kemp. Hello,
Hi,
David.
Manni. Hi.
So, guys, obviously today the Labour Manifesto was just released, and we thought let's grab David to see, what's going on, what's actually on the meat on the bone, because everyone's pro-building, pro-planning, all of that, pro-housing. What's going on with the Labour Manifesto then?
Well, I don't think it's going to be the end of PD at all.
Thank goodness for that.
I thought I'd get that in first. There's very strong signals about building on brownfield land. It specifically says in the manifesto they're taking a brownfield first approach to it. There's no noises about anything other than deregulation in order to create an easier path for developers,
right?
And also to try and throw more money at resources and towards planning officers and more funding to local authorities in-house as well. There is a strong message about more affordable housing being provided, but not necessarily using permitted development schemes, as a vehicle to do it. It'll be through planning obligations and formal planning applications and that sort of stuff. So I think they will be a lot stronger on sort of 50% for affordable housing on sites and tougher on financial viability and 50%. Things like that. It can be. I mean, we've seen some of that, but the commercial reality is on the ground that they need the houses built. And if a developer makes a strong case, as they have to at the moment,
and if it's viable,
it's not viable to provide that level, then I don't think an awful lot's going to change there as far as they're concerned. The Labour Party are very keen on trying to promote this idea of new towns as well, and regeneration and town extensions as well. That's obviously going to cost a lot of money. They're not going to be doing it themselves, as they're going to be a sort of a public-private partnership there. But this is about not leaving it to the market to decide where to build the houses, but they're trying to steer the market themselves and influence it a lot more.
And extend those boundaries, the strategic boundaries for the towns.
Yeah. Not so quite so hard and dictatorial as perhaps Corbyn's administration is. Starmer's obviously trying to make it very clear he's his own man. In fact, actually, the interesting thing is when the manifesto was first released in draft, they couldn't get it through the NEC, the National Executive Committee at the Labour Party at first, because the trade unions pushed back on it, saying that it was far too much over to the right. So it's interesting there. There's also the prospect of Greenbelt being deregulated and some parts of the Greenbelt being opened up. They're going to change national planning policy around this to make it easier.
Actually, so it's in the manifesto to change the policies to look. I think they call it low-grade green belt, right?
Sort of grey belt. Grey belt. Yes, that's it.
It's not so nice green belt. Basically.
Absolutely, but there will be some golden rules. What they say is golden rules around this in order to help still promote carbon renewable technologies, green development as well. They'll be very strong on that. And in fact, they're setting up a £7.3 billion, what they call a national wealth fund, to promote a lot of these sorts
green
of
technology. So wind farms, solar energy. Capturing
the interesting thing is the Conservatives had a very similar plan called they call the Brownfield Fund. So there's a little bit of rebranding here, to be quite honest.
But they didn't actually do anything, though, as well. No. That's the other thing to
absolutely. And they don't necessarily know how much money they've got in the kitty until they actually get into government. It's often the case here.
But I think there's a very valid point here, right? We're talking about the extension of the towns, because very recently I was reading somewhere less than 10% of the UK land is actually developed.
That's right.
That's kind of insane, really. I mean, we love a green belt, but 90% of it?
It is crazy, because we've got very strong lobbies against a lot of our infrastructure projects. There are a lot of stakeholders involved. And Starmer makes a few interesting comments in the manifesto about needing to deregulate some aspects of the planning system when it comes to national infrastructure projects. And I think there he's speaking to perhaps the Northern Powerhouse and the political base up there as well, because the way that towns are established up there is you've got these major conurbations, but you've got these disparate towns and villages which are poorly connected by local services, which are very, very expensive to keep running. And so I think the Labour government will be under a lot more pressure in order to win back that red wall that they lost at the last election and hold on to it. He doesn't see himself as using this. I don't think he sees himself as using this as an experiment for some far left wacky ideas like Corbyn was going to. It's much more centrist. I
And
think.
more thought
I
through
think
as
so.
well.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it all sounds quite exciting.
There's not a great deal of political capital for him messing around with a PD system.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
where his power base is, that's not their priorities. I don't think.
The others, like you said, green belt,
Absolutely.
grey belt,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
extending the towns. But I think this sounds quite interesting.
It's interesting.
Let's hope and see they can deliver.
If they have enough money to do it as well. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much for his great synopsis. So, guys, we do have David here most months, or every single month. But if you'd like to know more about planning, strategic planning, PD, he's here for advice and see if you have any questions for him. So do come along to our next one. It's not until September now, but we will be back and you'll hear the details online. David, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.
Thank you.